Hi guys, behind the scenes number, is it number 9 I think, isn't it? I think it's number 9. Anyhow, we're in the workshop obviously, working on the old cabin sole, so quite a few boards, but it's coming on, isn't it? This one's just up as far as being ready for its final coat of varnish. That one alone just filled, a couple of other boards waiting to clad, so it's ongoing. It takes a while this. And as you'll probably see next week, I built myself a new little workbench because I just had a couple of sawhorses stood there and they weren't quite straight. They had a bit of a twist in them, so I built this one up nice and level. It's a lot better. Couple of things, yeah. 2 questions from last behind the scenes that I want to answer, so that's coming up soon. Let's start from the beginning. I'm using this oak strip. I spent ages looking for a decent cladding for these floorboards, and clearly I could have milled it all myself, could have done, and somehow I didn't fancy it. And I saw this oak strip I got it on Amazon. It's a good price. When I built Miss Molly up, I got some oak strip from demo sales in Canada, and it was long lengths, so we could do these boards in one long length, and it was lovely. This short strip's nowhere near as good, but it'll do the job. It's good enough for me. So in the gaps, wherever there's a gap, and there are tiny little hints of gaps, I'm filling with something I read. Now I'm really pleased with how it comes out. I'm filling with a mixture of the varnish that I'm varnishing with and some dust from the belt sander, and it was a great filler and obviously entirely compatible with the varnish. So works really well. It's a great tip I read somewhere. Recommend it. Yeah, as I say, a couple of questions from last time I thought I'd talk about. One of them, Karen asked about the regulations when it comes to building your own boat, launching your own boat. And I guess that's going to vary from country to country a bit. And yet, when you look at YouTube, there's people in various different countries doing it, and it seems to be entirely possible. The only thing I can say here in Germany is that it's entirely possible, no issue at all. The German authorities are very relaxed, and in fact, if you go down to the sort of Berlin area, I was there a few years back now, Potsdam, south of Berlin, I think Potsdam south. A lot of water there, a lot of inland waterways, and a lot of self-built boats and rafts and whatever floating about there. Nice to see. So German authorities are very relaxed about building your own boat, as far as I can tell. I've read up quite a lot. I believe this to be true. There's one regulation, and that just says that you're not allowed to build a boat yourself and sell it within 5 years. So I guess that's just basically designed to stop people setting themselves up as semi-professional boat builders without a registered business. So yeah, as an amateur, you're not allowed to build a boat and sell it within 5 years of completion, which for me is no issue. In terms of registration, there are some funny things, aren't there? And here, perhaps particularly, registration, the German authorities, if you read carefully, there is no requirement to register a boat. And yet there are 2 or 3 different ways that you can register a boat. And I think it's fairly straightforward from what I read. You may have to take the plans along or some photos of the construction, but registration is quite straightforward. But actually there's no requirement. And it's the same with sailing licenses. This is probably true of a lot of countries in my experience, but you don't actually need a sailing license, a boat license. In Germany, the regulations say that if it has more than 15 horsepower engine, you need a license, which this actually doesn't have. So a boat this size with just under 15 horse of engine, you don't need a license at all, which is incredible, and not many people are aware of that. A lot of people here think they need a license to go boating, but it's actually not true. I have done the German licenses. I've done several levels of German license. No issue there. And Hazel's working her way through the RYA. She's actually sat indoors today doing a VHF license. I did mine back in Canada. So that's the regulations as I know it. Really, things are very relaxed. And I say, as I know it, I believe this to be the truth. It's based on what I've read and a significant bit of reading. There's no issue building your own boat at all. And you could actually design it yourself and build it. I don't think you even need a naval architect to design it. In this case, of course, I've got that. Hope that answers the question, Karen. Yeah, just to return one last word. I've just thought of insurance. Actually, there's no requirement to have boat insurance, except that a lot of marinas here require you to have boat insurance, third-party insurance, and it's not expensive. So I think I will go for third-party insurance. I'm fairly confident I will. But I say again, no legal requirement to have insurance. You can cover any damage you do out of your own pocket, if you like. Yeah, the other question from last time was about this barometric damper. There it is. Let's have a look. It's the one from Dickinson. It's adjustable, so you've got a counterweight on the back, a very basic and simple counterweight on the back. You can adjust the swing, and it's important that this faces fore and aft, not athwartship. What does it do? Well, clearly I don't know everything. It allows a bit of air to be drawn into the upward draft of the chimney, which reduces the amount of air that is being drawn through the stove and therefore reduces the fuel consumption. I think it also stops down backdrafts. That's my understanding of what it does. Really, I'm no expert here. I remember my grandmother, she had a big old range in her kitchen and it had a barometric damper in it. I remember sitting there watching it doing this, doing it as it was burning. Yeah, but that's what it's about. Apparently, from what I understand, it reduces the fuel consumption of the stove, which it obviously does by reducing the amount of air that's being drawn through. And I hope eliminates backdrafts. I hope. When we had this same stove in Miss Molly, it didn't have the damper, and on occasions we'd get a backdraft if the wind, caught the chimney in the wrong direction or whatever. Not very often, but now and again, and then you get a poof of black smoke out. So I'm really hoping that will sort that problem out, because the fuel consumption on this stove was good anyhow, to be honest with you. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support. If you're watching this, you're probably one of our supporters. Questions are great. Any questions you've got, please ask. I'll do my best to answer them. So don't hold back anything, and you can criticise nicely. Positive criticism is okay. Good. See you next time.